All right, guys, we back again. We back again. Got some interesting information about Shedeur that I knew was gonna happen. So we got some updated information. We now know we know what happened to him, right? But we got some interesting information though. Okay, the players have spoken, so we got some interesting information here. Now, what needs to happen is in the future. I'm not talking about now. You gotta crawl before you walk, but the players have power actually, and I believe they know that. I believe because these young players, they're not, they're far more advanced than the old players. I'm gonna tell you why. 'Cause a lot of these old players went broke. A lot of these old players in the past went broke, man. A lot of your legends right now, they are broke. They mismanaged their money. They party. They spent it on women, and they sitting up here talking about Shador. Some of these legends that's talking right now, they blew their money on women, drugs, and everything, and they sitting up here talking about Shador. But guess what, though? I am armed with a good memory. I'm armed with a good memory. I know all the mistakes these legends made. Make no mistakes about it. I do know. I've been watching football since the '80s. Okay, and I know a half of them went broke. Most, I would say, all the legends. I would say about 85% of them went broke. So they cannot sit up here and talk. Okay, this kid is smart, but let me tell you what happened, folks. They were talking online because you know how people tend to believe. Um, they tend to believe these social media people. Anything I say on here, I need you to research it on the fly. I need you to research it on the fly and come back and tell me I'm wrong. Don't wait till the thing is over. As soon as I say something that strikes your interest, just go quick, Google it real quick, and then come back to me and fact check me. I am armed with a good memory. Let's look now. The players have power, but let me tell you what's happening. So somebody said, "Well, he's not even at the Cleveland Browns training camp yet." Yes, he is. Yes, he is. You see that picture right here? That's him entering the building. He is now unofficially, he is QB2. Unofficially, because Deshaun Watson is hurt. Flacco, we got to give Joe Flacco, the QB1 because he's the elder statesman and he has all the experience. I mean, damn, he going into his 19th season. He been playing since Shedeur was a toddler, man. So we got to give it to him. And he's gonna learn under Joe Flacco just like Lamar Jackson did. You see how the universe worked? Because Lamar did learn under him. He did. He got some pointers from him. And Flacco is gonna do the same for Shedeur. Now, check this out. The players at the Cleveland Browns, they said, man, don't even worry about that, man. We got you. Don't even worry about that, man. They love that he's there. And here's another thing somebody said to me, well, what is the fans saying? You really have to listen. I know what the fans are saying. The fans have spoken. So go fact check me right now. Go see what his jersey is doing in Cleveland right now. Go look. Somebody need to fact check me. Go look what the jersey sales are looking like. The fans have spoken. He got the number one jersey just about. I think he got the number one jersey now on the team. This is some bullshit that shouldn't have happened. But it's just that, the owners are human. They're haters too. Don't ever think in your life that billionaires are not haters. These billionaires, they're the most dangerous people on the planet. If you know, you know. Okay? It ain't nothing for them to have somebody murked. Okay? They're the most dangerous people on the planet. The stuff that they have to go through to get that type of money, hey man, if you know, you know. They're the most dangerous people on the planet, man. And they're petty too. They're human beings. They're not gonna take that money with them. You ever seen a Brinks truck at a funeral? They're not going to take it with them. They're human just like we are. They just got a lot of money and power and resources. But they're insecure as well. Their old ladies probably like thinking Shedeur is wanting to be with Shedeur. Come on, man. They're haters. I'm telling you they are. I'm here to be 100% real with you on why they did this. They hating. Now they blaming Coach P. Oh, it's Coach P's fault for being he's too good of a father. He too good of a father, man. That's not his fault. That's not it. It was a hater situation that went bad. That's what happened here. But the Cleveland Browns, they loving that he's there. All the players are loving that he's there, man. Then somebody said, well, he's not even there yet. Yes, he is. Look at the picture. He rolled up in there with his Colorado stuff, man. He ready to get to work. Listen, when he walked up in there as QB-1. That's the way he's walking. I think a damn movie is being made in front of our eyes, yo. There's no way in the hell that they're cutting him. There's no way in the hell. And Chris Carter, you need to go have a seat, man, because I can bring up your stuff that happened to you in the past. So please have a seat, because I'm armed with a good memory. All you legends, you need to have a seat. Boomer Esiason, you need to have a seat. Even though I like the fact what Boomer Esiason did, because he exposed the fact on what the owners did. So shout out to Boomer Esiason. I just don't like how he said it. But I like that he came out and said that the owners was on some hater shit and told him to take him off the board. These owners stole $50 million from him. I'm never going to forget it. And here's the thing, what they don't know. Because of his Hollywood looks, he's going to make that back. Yeah, I said Hollywood looks. Wasn't he at the what do you call it? Was he in a fashion show? Was he in a fashion show? Yes. This man's gonna make the $50 million this year in endorsements. That's how God works. He gonna make it this year in endorsements. Somebody told me, my friend, she was like, he got Hollywood looks. That's where I'm getting it from. I was like, damn, he got Hollywood looks. She said, yeah, he got Hollywood looks. I said, with the Hollywood looks, he's very marketable. So he's gonna make the 50 million in endorsements. You know, most players that's smart, some of them don't even touch their NFL salary. They get in endorsements. I heard Beast Mode did, and Beast Mode said he did that. He touched his endorsement money. All the NFL stuff he kept. So they don't even really touch that anyway. Now he's gonna have to wait about a couple years to sign that new deal, but he is gonna sign it. He actually is QB-1. He's the best quarterback in the goddamn draft. I'm not taking nothing away from Cam Ward, man. If you want to say Cam Ward is or Shedeur, I'm not arguing with you, because we're not hating on Cam over here, because they got the same quarterback coach. They're the same fucking quarterback, man. I'm telling you this, they are. Now, if you put Shedeur on the University of Miami, he would have did the goddamn same record. The same record. You put Cam Ward at Colorado, his ass would have been getting sacked too. I promise you this. Listen, I am on a week's long terror. I am not letting these, I'm giving it to these owners, man. I'm giving it to them because they're haters. They didn't draft him because of his ability. They know him and Cam the same. They know that. But the reason why they did it is because they're on some hater stuff, man. That's why. That's why. But these players are all liking that he's there. Let me tell you something to the NFL coach. To the Cleveland Browns coach. Cut him if you want to. Cut him if you want to. Because what's going to happen is y'all going to start losing and you're going to get fired. Because the owner know what y'all got. Y'all know y'all got him at a discount. And y'all fucking said that too. Like, yeah, we got him at the price. Y'all should have got him before, but y'all were told not to do it. And then you got him at a discount. And then you got a discount. But you're not going to have him for a discount for long. You're not. After year 2, after year 2.5, you're going to have to negotiate with him after year 2.5. I hope he leave. Well, I don't hope he leave. Maybe he'll stay there because I don't like the other owners either. Hopefully he go to Jacksonville. That's my hope. Because he's better than Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, I'm saying it. He is. I watched Trevor Lawrence. I watched him. He's better than Trevor Lawrence, and they know that. He's better than him. So hopefully he'll link back up. He said something, the last thing he said at his pro day, when they were all in a circle, he said, I hope we all meet up again one day. Shedeur, you might just get that. That might just come to fruition. If they don't listen to me, I know they got Travis there. Travis ain't enough. He's only one person. If they don't win this year, Trevor got a problem. They got to win this year. And they'll give him 2 more years. But they'll give him 3. By that time, Shedeur will be ready for a trade. He'll be ready to go. He's a free agent. The kid is one of the best quarterbacks right now. He is. I mean, you got Jaden Daniels. You got the kid from Chicago. You got Lamar Jackson. I know all of them by heart. You got the kid from Philly. Of course, you got Patrick Mahomes. You got Cam Ward, and you got Shedeur. Those are my top quarterbacks. I just said it. I don't give a damn if they ain't play no court. I don't give a damn if they ain't play an NFL game yet. Those are my top quarterbacks. Oh yeah, I'm not a hater. I'll go with Trevor as well because I'm not a hater. Okay, so there it is. Those are my top right there. I'm missing one actually. I am missing one or two. But anyway, these NFL owners are haters, man. But now the Cleveland Browns are welcoming him there. The players that don't even worry about it. One of them said, "Don't even worry about it, man. You know who you are." Because they know what the owners did, and half the players in the league are black. Excuse me. We're not doing that crayon color stuff no more. Highly melanated. Let's just say melanated. Okay? Or you could just say, melanated. So they make up most of the league. So you don't think they felt something over that? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Because if they could do that to Shedeur, the owners could do that to them. They know that. They know this world they know that, and they don't care. They don't matter how much money they got. These people still think they're a ninja. They know that. See, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell the other side something for a minute. There's certain things we say at our dinner table that we don't say to y'all. There's certain things how we act that y'all can't understand because you don't walk in our shoes. You might say, well, damn, you're a millionaire, this and that. No. We still feel it in life. We still feel it. But you can't understand it because you don't walk in our shoes. Okay? You don't walk in our shoes. You don't have that trauma in your DNA like we have. You don't have that. No, you don't. You don't have it. I'll tell you what you got in your DNA, but I'm not going to. I'm going to save it for another show. There's certain things that we don't have to speak on that we all can agree with, just based on we all got the same experience. It don't matter if you're a millionaire. It don't matter if you're the poorest man to the millionaire to the most paid on the league. It don't matter. It don't matter if you're mixed race like Patrick Mahomes. He knew what happened. He don't even have to say it. There's certain things that we know that you don't, that we have in common that you don't have in common with us. Everybody know what happened to Shedeur was wrong. All the players in the league fucks with Coach Prime. They know what y'all did. But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm here to tell these players they got a lot of power. They have a lot of power. They have a lot of power. And I want them to realize that. They have a lot of power. Okay? To band together to get whatever they want. Because I've seen it happen in my lifetime already when they had to go find some people at the grocery store to play football. Yeah, that happened before when they had a long ass lockout. And they had a lockout even after that, that was significant. And they got what they wanted eventually. Then the owners always get what they want. But I just want to tell you guys something real quick, just the other side. There's certain things, there's certain ways that we feel about you that all of us collectively feel the same about you. But we're not going to tell you. There's certain things that we got in common that we can agree on about you. And that's why you notice when things happen, I know what you guys say. Well, you guys victimize each other. How come you don't get out of line? We don't like when you do it, though. We don't. It's just a thing that we have. We're never going to be the same. We're never going to be equal. You guys never going to think we're equal. And we know that. We don't give a fuck how much money we got. We know we're not equal to you. We know that the level playing field wasn't level. We know this. But I'm just bold enough to tell you the truth on how we really feel about you. Yeah, I am. Did you know? Let me prove it to you that we all agree on this. As much as Stephen A. Smith capped for y'all, as much as he capped for y'all, because he caps now. Okay, he caps. We don't like when he do it, but he do what he can for the other side. Even he was pissed off at this Shedeur thing, man. Even he was. That was crazy. I was thinking he was gonna agree with the owners. He didn't agree with the owners on this one. So that's my point. It don't matter how much bootlicking you did. Deep down, when you look in the mirror, you know this was wrong, even if you're bootlicking for him. Okay, so that's what I want to tell you. I'm not speaking for everybody, but most of us tolerate you. We don't like you, we tolerate you. I tolerate you, but I don't like you. I tolerate you because God put us on this earth with you. I tolerate you. Now, like I said, there's 10% of you that's a really nice people. I fucks with y'all. I'll never forget what a coworker told me, man. She said that, it's a white woman. Or, yeah, she said, let me tell you something. And she's really cool. I fucks with her. She said, you know how they say they try to act like they're not racist? She said, most of them are. And I said, what's the percentage? She said, about 90%. She said, I got people in my family that way. But they act like they're church going people and everything else. But she said they are. She said because they haven't worked on themselves to change it. And it's one of those social incurable diseases that we have in our society. It's a social incurable disease, I believe. And the owners exercise it. It bothered them how Coach Prime did the same thing Eli Manning, father did. Archie Manning. He did the same thing, but they'll tolerate that because he's one of them. But you let Prime do it, they have a problem with it. That's what happened. But I'm here to tell you, I don't care how much money you got. I tolerate you, but I don't like you. I know I sound like I'm overly militant, but I'm not. I just don't like you. You know what I'm saying? I immediately tolerate you until you prove to me that you're actually a human being, that you are a decent human being. If you don't prove to me that you're a decent human being, then I'm just not going to like you. Just off the jump. I'm just not going to like you. You literally have to prove to me that you're a decent human being. Because I know most of you are racist. That's why. I don't care who you are. You got to prove it to me, man. And that's how I feel. I'm from the old school, man. And this really pissed me off what happened to this kid. Now, there's a few people affiliated with him. They're in the 10%. I could tell. But I can really tell that 90% of the devils, I can tell that you're a devil. And what qualifies you to be a devil? For being hateful. That's what qualifies you. And what happened, like Coach Prime said it. Why you think he said? He said, this is the devil. Did y'all hear that? I'm not the only one that said it. He said, this the devil right here. He said, y'all put me on the cross to take my kids off. He's talking about the powers that be. He said, give him all the smoke and please forgive his children. That's what he said. He wasn't talking to God, man. Let me break that down to you, man. How deep that was what he said. He said, y'all put me on the cross. Listen, there was already one, if you believe in that story, there was already one person that was put on the cross for us. It would never happen again. But he used it as a metaphor to say to the powers that be, listen, give me all the smoke. Let my kids go, man. Because Shedeur and them they getting what you call they getting strays. And it's not the first time I said it. I said they're getting strays. Even the players at Colorado be getting stray bullets. They wanna dismantle everything he's doing so bad. The University of Virginia paid a running back $500,000, and he ain't even prove it yet. I can see if he proved that he could run for $500,000. I can see that they gave it to him because he has the potential and they want him, and they're doing that to all the other players. And that for that one player, let me tell you something, young man. Because you said something on Twitter, you said it ain't about the money and stuff like that. Yes, it is. And stop capping. You go enjoy your money and be quiet. Okay, don't sit up here and say it ain't about the money. Don't sit up there and say that because somebody offered you a bag and you got in the portal and you left. Okay, don't sit up here and keep doing the most on Twitter because I'm gonna answer you back and I'm gonna chastise you. So keep talking. Okay? Because it is about the money, and I know for a fact it was. I know for a fact because I know where you're going, and I know they offered you a bag, which is okay. But don't sit up here and say it wasn't about the bag and all that. Yes, it was. Because there's 6 degrees of separation in this world. I know exactly where you're going. I'm not going to tell your business, but it's about the money. They offered you a bag. Okay? You're saying it's not about the bag, and yes, it is about the bag. They're single-handedly going after his players. Now, don't get me wrong. Every university has this issue, but they are targeting Coach Pryor. He knows they are. He knows they are. That's why he said something to UVA. He said, "Look, dog, I already let you get one. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop because that's what they're doing. They're tampering. But look, they're gonna get away with the tampering. But if Coach Prime start tampering and they find out about it, they're gonna penalize him for it for tampering. So you need to penalize the other institutions for tampering as well. But that's not gonna happen. It's just the way it is. They're targeting his players. All his good players he got right now, bags are being offered to them. It's gonna be offered to them. They're trying to get Jordan Seaton, but they're not. I don't think they're gonna be able to get him because he's a loyal cat. He's loyal. They're not gonna be able to get him. He's kind of like Travis. He's loyal. But Jordan, be careful. I want to say this to you, Jordan Seaton. Be careful what you say on camera. Be careful. Be careful what you say on camera because they're watching you. Because you might catch a stray bullet too. So be careful. If I was you, just be silent and just be an all-American. All you have to do right now, so you won't catch a stray, do what Travis did. Just be silent and be an all-American, and you won't catch a stray. Because they're looking for any little reason for you to give you a stray. That's what they're doing. They did it to Shedeur and Shiloh. So I'm just telling you, Shiloh is in a really good position. Actually, he's with the Buccaneers. With his playing style and how he is, the Buccaneers was a great fit for him. And he's not a quarterback, so he can get drafted in the he can be an undrafted free agent and still be okay because of his position, because they need that skill set with the Tampa Bay right now. So he's okay. The quarterback when the quarterbacks get drafted that late, They don't really have a leg to stand on in the locker room. But he does, though. This is a different situation. Traditionally, when you get drafted in the 5th and 6th round, you lucky you make the team because you might get cut, and the resources are not put on you. They're not trying to develop you. But Shedeur, even though he got drafted in the 5th round, he's actually going to be QB2. Flacco is QB1, Shedeur is QB2. Dylan Gabriel might get traded. Okay, or the other cat. No, I would say the other cat might get traded, or he just might get just dropped. The one that's still in his rookie contract, even though he is pretty good a little bit. But I don't know how they're going to keep Dylan Gabriel. I think they might trade him because that's not fair for him either, at his draft position. But I'm sorry, Dylan. Shedeur is better than you, man. And I'm not trying to say that to knock you. This kid is really, I've been watching quarterbacks since the damn 1980s. And I've been watching NFL film. Everything has been done already. He reminds me of somebody. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to say who he reminds me of because he's in a doghouse for me. I'm not going to say it. But he's actually QB2. It's funny. He's QB2, but he was drafted in the 5th round just because they were chastising him for no reason, because they don't like his father. But they don't like what his father said, talking about, remember that he said it twice. He was like, oh, my son is not going, whatever. And then he was like, who? Who are you talking about? When she asked him something about Shedeur, he's like, who? They don't like that. They don't like that. And then Chris Carter said the reason why he didn't go to the Giants is, yo, check this out. This is what Chris Carter said. And he's getting this from somewhere because he got clout in the league. The Giants, they didn't care for Shedeur anyway, even though they met with him, because if they had drafted him in the 1st round, the coach is already on the hot seat. So if they start losing, he might think that the Giants might hire his father, because his father said the only way he gonna coach in the league unless he coached for his sons. And maybe and Chris Carter said he think the coach thinking that the Giants might do that. So it was a lot of hate going on. It was a lot of hate going on. I didn't realize that. But the thing is, the Giants coach is on the hot seat because if they don't start winning within the next 2 years, he's going to get fired. So it is dire situation for him. It's a dire situation for him. So they got to get these draft picks right. But I heard what Chris Carter said about that, but I'm not sure if that was the reason. He claimed that they had a bad interview. That's what he's claiming. Yeah, he's claiming that they had a bad interview, which I don't believe. Saying that he had some installations for him and Shedeur wasn't prepared. And he didn't like how Shedeur reacted to him. He might have, if that was the case, he may have gotten disrespectful and Shedeur checked him. Because I would have checked him too. Fuck your money. Yeah, you're not going to get disrespectful with me. That's what Coach Prime said. You can't talk to millionaires in the NFL a certain type of way. Shadeur's already a millionaire. You can't talk to them a certain type of way. They're not going to sit up here and get buffaloed around by you. This is not college. They're not going to tolerate you yelling at them. Chris Carter, you should know that because I know how you acted when you were in the league. You didn't let them coaches buffalo you around, even though you were a legend. You know what I'm saying? But you already know that if you have to treat them a certain type of way when you're in the NFL. That's why Coach Prime said he don't really want to coach like that because he don't want to really coach these millionaires like that. Yeah, they're not going to accelerate. They're not going to tolerate you talking to them a certain type of way. So if he did get disrespectful, yeah, I would have checked him. I don't care if he's the coach. I would have checked him. Now, are they going to yell at you every now and then? Yes, they are. That's just football. But I'm talking about being disrespectful. That's another thing. So What I'm trying to say is all this stuff that happened to him. It's sometime in life, man. Here's the thing: things are just not fair with us. Eli Manning, father, could demand Eli Manning go to the Giants, right? And it worked out because what he won 2 Super Bowls, so it worked out, right? Yeah, it did. But he demanded that you keep my son if you want to, and it worked out for him. But if Coach Prime do it, it's a problem, and that's a fact. It's a double standard, and that's why we like, man, we tired of this, man. This is 2025. We tired of you devils, man. Like for real. Now you know the way I'm talking. I'm all the way tired. I'm tired of you devils, man. I'm just tired of you. And they so sensitive. Imagine the shit my ancestors went through, man. And you sitting up here being sensitive. We don't have a right to be sensitive in this work, because y'all say, oh, y'all being sensitive. So stop being sensitive, man, when I'm speaking real, man. You're gonna sit up here and send me an email saying, Max, we don't like the conversation and this and that. Well, then go somewhere else, man. You know what I'm saying? Go to Katie Couric's Instagram, man. Don't stay here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just as real as Trump, yo. It's real. See, people in this day and age now, they respect you being real. They want you to speak that shit, man. Because that's how Trump got elected. He's sitting up there speaking that shit, man. That's how he got elected. This ain't the time to be politically correct no more. Because Trump didn't get elected for being politically correct. Oh, by the way, him and Prime is cool. By the way, if you didn't know, if y'all didn't know, they are. That's why he said something. But anyway, let's get back to it. Um, how are they cool, man? Because they both was fucking celebrities. That's why. He was a celebrity before he's president. He's the most he's the most mentioned president in hip hop. Okay, go fact. I feel the spirit. Somebody saying, let me go fact check. They go fact check it. They both celebrities, so celebrities know each other, man. That's just what it is. So let me get back to it. I know y'all like, who said that, man? So I don't know. I just felt the hater in the bushes, yo. I had to talk to him real quick. I can literally hear that the hater's soul. My soul can hear. I just got that ability and shit. I can hear him, yo. Nah, man, you lying. No, I'm not lying. Go check. But anyway, um, people don't like you being a certain. They want you to be. They don't want you to be politically correct no more. They want you to speak that shit because some people could resonate with it. So I'm speaking my piece. Am I mad about it? No, I just the way I talk. It's just the way I talk, yo. I'm not mad. It's not. I'm not losing no sleep over. He gonna make his money. He gonna make his money in endorsements. His shoes gonna sell off the rack. I already know that. So he gonna make his money. I mean, he gonna make it, but I want him to have all the money. I want him to have all the money. Okay, all the money. So yes, I'm gonna say something. I don't lose no sleep over it though. Like, why are you upset? Somebody said that. Well, mind your business. Don't worry about it. I'm not upset. I'm just speaking. About that. Yeah, I'm being real, yo. I'm not politically correct no more because the fact of the matter is Trump became president for not being politically correct. So we live in an age now where people don't want to hear that good shit no more. We want to hear the real shit. So that's what I'm telling you. The reason why it happened because they felt some type of way about his father because his father got so much admiration in the league and they don't. That's why. These people want people to kiss their ass. They like, man, why he got so much pull? Why Jerry Jones fucking with him? Why he got so much pull? Why my old lady think he cute, yo? That's probably what they thinking. Old lady probably said, oh, look at Prime. Probably said something they didn't like, yo. How come I'm not revered in my, because nobody care about your money. We just want your money. We just want the kids to get all the money and move on to something else. Fuck your Super Bowl. How about that? The only Super Bowl is the goddamn World Cup, in my opinion. Super Bowl don't mean shit. The World Cup does. All right? We don't care about your Super Bowls. We want these players to go in there and make $300 million like Russell Wilson did and rob y'all. And so they can sit up there and retire and take that guaranteed money. Let me tell you something. If Trevor Lawrence don't play a game ever again, how much you think that owner got to pay him? $170 million. Yes, Lord. $170 million is guaranteed to him. If he never play another football game. See, I'm for all the play. I don't give a damn what they look like. I'm happy that Trevor got all that money. Okay? I'm happy. Fuck these owners. I'm happy he got the money because if he don't play it ever again, what happens if he pulls a Megatron? They better hope he don't pull a Megatron. Yeah, guys, I just don't want to get hit in my head anymore. I'm just gonna go ahead and retire. I'm just gonna go retire, and me and my wife, we're just gonna enjoy. We're just gonna travel the world. They better hope he don't say that, because if he do, I'm gonna sit up there and laugh. I just can't keep getting my hit in my head on purpose like that. I just can't keep doing it. All right. I love that he got that money. I love that Russell Wilson got the money. I love that what's his name for the Cleveland Browns got that money. They still got to pay him, even though he got an Achilles tendon issue. They still got to pay him that guaranteed money. They better hope he come back and be QB-1. They better hope next year. So you see what I'm saying? So I just want these kids to get all the money. That's it. Fuck the Super Bowl. Who cares about the Super Bowl? It's rigged anyway. In my opinion, it's rigged. So who cares? So that's how I really feel about it. I want the kids to get all the money. But these owners are haters. They took him off the board. They haters. So Chris Carter, I hear what you're saying, because Chris Carter is blaming Prime for it. He said Prime shot his son in the foot. You know what I'm saying? He said, you know what else Chris Carter said? I couldn't believe this. I mean, Chris Carter, they paying you to say this? But he said, you remember when Cam Ward and Shedeur was practicing? And Shedeur said something, let's make an album together or something. And Cam Ward said, nah, I just want to be known as football. Chris Carter said that meant something. They used that. You mean to tell me the owners was really watching the well-off media videos? They probably were. He said that proves that Shedeur, he said that they peeped that thinking Shedeur is not all about football. Okay, let me tell you a travesty what happened. I know you like, what else could be bad? This happened years ago. Florida State, because I used to be a Florida State fan. Right? His name is Myron Rolle. If you my age, you know who he is from Florida State. His name is Myron Rolle. Now he's Dr. Myron Rolle. You hear me? Doctor. Medical doctor. He's a surgeon. He's a surgeon now. Dr. Myron Rolle. No relation to Samaria Antrell, but Myron Rolle. Myron Rolle. So he was a Rhodes Scholar. And he almost missed the bowl game because he had to go to Oxford. Did you know the NFL owners knocked him for that? You know what they said? You know what they said? They said he too smart for the NFL. He too smart. That's what they said. That was the knock on him, and that's why he dropped in the draft. Even though I believe he still went in the first round or the second round. The reason why he dropped so far because they said they were questioning his dedication to the game, and they said he's too smart for the game. So that's how they feel about these players. You got to be stupid. They got to think you're stupid. Even though Travis is a smart cookie, they know Travis is a smart cookie. They know that. But they know Travis is all about football. But I guarantee you, if Travis was pursuing his education, like he said he want to be a doctor or something, he would have fell in the draft. He would have fell. He wouldn't have been number 2. He would have fell in the draft. But Myron Rolle, at the time, he was in like grad school, but he was at Oxford. He was a Rhodes Scholar, right? And he wanted to be a medical doctor. He wanted to go to med school while he was in the NFL, which he was doing. He played in the NFL for a while, but then he went on to medical school. Now he's a neurosurgeon. They said he was too smart for the game, yo. So that's how they feel about these players, man. They want you to be. They really want you to be a brain head, like that, a doorknob. That's what they want you to be, as long as you can play that football. They don't mind if you're smart, but you got to be dedicated to football. So I had said to these people last night that it's okay to play the system. All you got to do is just like say what they want to hear, even though you feel a different type of way, because you got to know how the game is played to make it work for you. Sometimes you might have to get your code switching on just to let these owners hear what they have to hear, and then rob them for their money. Now, when I'm not saying literally rob them for them, I'm talking about what Russell Wilson did and Trevor Lawrence and them, or really Dak Prescott. You see how Dak? I don't know how much. I think it's 170 yards that's guaranteed to him if he just stopped playing today. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. You gotta just play the game and get that, and then move on, or get however much money you can get. You know what I'm saying? But these players are smart. Somebody told me, I know somebody that worked, within the organization. He said that there's levels to football players, and they all know it. He said you have some football players that are just gung ho, all about the championship and all about football. Football is their life. Then he said you got some football players that's faking it, and it's hard to detect. Like they'll tell you, I'm all about football, this and that, but what they're doing is they're stacking their money and getting as much money they can get, and they move on. They don't care about a Super Bowl, okay? They don't care about a Super Bowl. They don't care about no Super Bowl. They don't care about the city they play in. They just want their money. Then you're starting to see it now in college. They don't care about, okay, yeah, I'm at this college, but whoever give me the biggest bag, I'm gone. That's why I'm trying to tell that one player that he said it ain't about the money. Yes, it is, because they gave you a bag. It is. It is about the bag. And it should. You don't have. I mean, you could say, but see, the thing, I ain't like how he responded. He said, for all you sitting up here talking and you don't know what you're talking about, it ain't about the bag. Sir, you don't even have to say anything because it is about the bag. If somebody offer me a few of them big ones, I'm like, Coach, I love you, man, but I got to go get it because I don't know if I'm going to be in the NFL. I want to make the money now so I can figure out what I'm going to do business-wise. So I won't even have to go to the NFL. So, or I even have to worry about it. They don't want these players super, super, super smart, because if they do, they're gonna wake up and gonna realize, like, look, man, why are you treating Shedeur that way? Let's all just collectively sit out until they get their minds right. They don't want that ever happening. They don't want a certain percentage of the populace to wake up. They don't want that, because at that point, then the system will flip on them. So that's why they want you to still be all about that Super Bowl, and I just want to be the best player ever, and I just want to win a Super Bowl. See, that sounds good to them, because you ain't talking about being a lawyer or a doctor or an agent or something like that. No, you ain't talking about all that. You talking about you want to win a fucking Super Bowl for a city, you know what I'm saying, that you probably ain't got no equity in. Fuck the Super Bowl, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't say fuck the Super Bowl. Say that you do want to win a Super Bowl. Say all the good shit. I want to win a Super Bowl. I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just so happy. I just thank God I'm here to have an opportunity to get CTE. Oh Lord, I really thank you, Lord, for giving me the opportunity to get CTE so I could win a Super Bowl. But don't say CTE. Just say you thank God for going to get to, because you want to win a Super Bowl. Your whole life you dreamed about winning a Super Bowl for this billionaire. Okay, because that's what you're doing. I just want to win a Super Bowl for this billionaire. I want to win a Super Bowl. But just say that, not for the billionaire, but just say you want to win a Super Bowl for the city. I just want to win. I want to bring a Super Bowl to this city. I want to be the best player in this organization. I just want to play an integral part in this organization. Okay? You have to say that. So they be like, okay, he really about football. He really about it. But you don't want to say what you really want to say. Okay? Say that behind closed doors. Leave that for me. But say that for behind closed doors. Okay? Don't be real with them. Okay? Just be like, I just ready. Thank God for me being here. And, I dreamed about being for this organization. It was my dream to be for this organization. And, even the colors, I dream about the colors at night. I just dream about the owner and his family. I just wish to God to bless his family, Lord. Lord, please bless his family. Bless the owner's family. You know what I'm saying? Say all that good shit. Okay? But deep in your mind, you just want to play hard enough so you can pass that rookie contract and get that max contract. Okay? See, because that max contract, that's like hundreds of millions of dollars, depending on what position, depending on the situation, right? That's what you want. And then, you still got to make it look good. Give it a couple years you play, and then all of a sudden, you don't know how to fucking play no more. All of a sudden, because that's how these players are. All of a sudden, they're getting injured. They don't know how to play no more and stuff like that. And then go on about your merry way. But you still got to make it look good because you just robbed them. Even though I'm not with the organization anymore, I will do the speaking engagements because you got to make it look good. You know, you got to do the speaking engagement. Then that's it. Go on about your merry way. That's what I want. Get your money and go about your merry way. Because as you see, they don't care about you. If you're replaceable. They don't care. These owners don't care about if your father's a Hall of Famer and he's the best, but they don't care about all that. He's a ninja to them, and that's how you gotta see it. And then you'll know how to just play him. Say all the good stuff now, so you can play him for the money, and that's it. Talking shit, it just makes my teeth white. I love this right here. You know what I'm saying? I love the fact that the Cleveland Brown players said, "Yo, man, don't worry about them, Shedeur. You know what I'm saying? You know who you are. We got you. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, let him go into the season because they're not gonna cut him, and they don't win their first 4 games in Cleveland. If they're winning, they're not gonna call for him. It'll be nice for him to get in every now and then, but let them start losing and see what happened in that stadium. Remember, I said it. You heard it here. They're gonna they're gonna call his name so fast. It's gonna be funny. He walked in that facility. I could feel the energy, even just looking. I could feel the energy. He's the man in that locker room already. Even the players love him. He's just picking up where he left off from Colorado. And here's another thing Chris Carter said. Oh, he's been coddled. And anybody would love to have a Hall of Fame dad. It's not his fault that the Lord portaled him back into the Sanders family. That's where he was portaled at. That's where he had his solar return to that family. That's some Mason talk, I'm telling you right now. You know what I'm saying? That's some Mason talk. You know what I'm saying? That's why I know how this thing works. I know how these devils are, yo. I know how they operate because I was in the organ. I know. I know how these devils work, yo. I'm just telling you. I'm as sure as I'm born. I know how they work. When he portaled back into the family, death is, I'm telling you, it's the life is continuous. If you didn't know, you don't remember. You only remember do dreams and stuff like that. That's the only way you remember. It's an old Masonic hymn, and it goes like this: roll, roll, roll your boat gently down the stream, merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is but a dream. That's an old Masonic hymn, by the way. It's not a preschool song. Now you know. Um, Life is a dream. You repeat it. You just don't know it, but you repeat it. You know how they say death comes like a thief in the night? Boom, just like that. Same thing with life. Wake up, go to sleep, wake up, you somewhere else. The reason why I'm saying all this because he couldn't help who he was born to. That's why I said it. He couldn't help who he was born to. He was born to the Sanders family, and so happened his dad is a NFL Hall of Famer that was good at two sports. I mean, damn, he played in a World Series and a Super Bowl, right? His dad is sure of himself. He grew up. He couldn't help but grow up in the shadow of his dad. But he's ready to be his own man. Y'all didn't hear what he said? I've been ready to leave. He said this. But see, he catching strays. And I don't think it's right for them to do that, Chris Carter. Give him a chance. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Now, they all worried they didn't want Dion's presence at the team. That's what they're saying. That's how they said it, Dion. We know he coached Prime, but that's how they said it. He said it. They didn't want his presence there. You remember during the draft, Coach Prime said he know what's going on. He know exactly what's going on. He know. He can't say it though, but I can say he can't say it. He got to be politically correct. He knew what was going on. He said they getting them back. It's just that they're insecure, man. Only people that do this is people that's insecure, and a lot of these owners are insecure. I know you're like, what they got to be insecure about? They billionaires. You like I said, money is an idea. Money is not a real thing. Did you know it's an idea? Money is an idea. It's not a real thing. But that they have a lot of that idea though, right? Which gives them power. Reason why money is an idea because it used to be backed by gold. But Tricky Dick, leave it up to Tricky Dick, Richard Nixon. We call him Tricky Dick, by the way. Used to call him that. Now it's not backed by gold anymore. It's called the fiat. It's backed by an idea and it's backed by the US military. Your money is good as the US military. Why? Because that's why I called it a promissory note. That's why. So money is an idea, but they have more of that idea, right? And it gives them power. So they have an illusion of power, which is not really an illusion because they do have power. Your money could do a lot for you. That idea could do a lot for you. But you can't take it into the next lifetime. They're trying to, because there's some technology now that they will be able to do a head transplant, take your head off and put it on another body. So they're trying to do all they can to stay in this life and enjoy that money, because they know once they get to the other side, they can't control how they portal back. They can't control how they portal back. See, there's another governing body on the other side that actually controls that. If you don't believe me, ask your Masonic grandfather if you think I'm lying. Go ask him. Don't worry, they won't knock me off because they know half of you won't believe me anyway. That's what keeps me safe. But they trying their best to play God though. Now they want to have head transplants because they want to stay here and enjoy that power as long as they can. But no, they can't take that power on the other side. So that's why I don't care about these owners like that. I just care that people like Dak Prescott is getting paid. That's it. somebody said to me, how come you guys don't band together and get what you want in this country? Why are you just accepting a little bit? That's what somebody told me. Somebody, he's from the Sudan. He said, yeah, they give some of you a lot of resources, but the rest of you they don't. Why don't y'all band together? Have a revolution or something. I said, we're not doing all that. I said, we can have a revolution with our money, but we're not there yet. So you just gotta be, we're not there yet. That's what simply what I said to him. Reason why I said that is because you ever hear people say, I thank God I won a national championship, but really you benefited the owner. That's what you did, which was your job, right? Because you did a really good job to win it. So you really did your job really well, but it's not benefiting the collective. That's why. That's why he said that. There's nothing wrong with doing your job at the elite level to win a championship. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not benefiting the collective. And the collective is the reason why the NFL is so popular. The collective is because we spend the most money. Where we spend the most money. But if we stop spending that money, and that's a whole nother topic. I'm gonna keep it on sport. That's a whole nother time. I'm going too far. But I told him, I said, right now, nothing we could do. It's just the way it is right now, unless something really happens for us to really band together. But so that's well, the reason why I said it is because these billionaires don't care how you feel, right? They don't care. They could get away with whatever they want to get away with. They don't care if the players are with Shedeur. They know that them fans are going to still sell that stadium out. Okay, they get $250 million a year in TV right deals. And they know that this, like I said, the fans are going to fill those they're going to buy up the concession stands. They're going to fill the stadium out regardless. They don't care. But if we had a boycott and we boycotted them indefinitely for about 3 to 4 years, then they would do something. But as long as people are filling their butts in them stadiums and having tailgate parties, they don't give a fuck what we think. So that's what I'm saying. They don't. That's why they can get away with what they did with Shedeur. There ain't nothing we could do about it. Even if they cut him, they could cut him and he could never play football again, and people will be upset about it. But they could get away with it unless the players actually step in at that point and say, "No, what you're doing to him is wrong." So we're gonna act on it. Which, see, the players have the most power. Did you know that the players actually have the most power and it's not the owners? But the players don't realize that. They don't realize it yet. They're not all fully awake yet. So you know how I know? Because it's happened in history. Because the players are like, you know what? We want what we want. We want a new collective bargaining agreement. We want better benefits. This happened in the 80s. And then they quit indefinitely. They literally had to go find people at the gas station and go play football, yo. Hey, did you ever play college football? Yeah, I did. You want to play for the Giants? They literally had a tryout. And before that, people were like working and doing all type of jobs. And they had the replacement players for a while. That really hurt the league. It hurt it so bad, man. It really did. They lost a lot of money. And the players finally got what they wanted at that particular time. So the players do have a certain amount of power. They have a lot of power. They do. But they're not woke enough to exercise that power when it just happened to one of them. Because the average person is selfish. They don't care about themselves until something happens to them. Now they want everybody to care about them. But it's never going to change until the collective is on one chord. And then it'll change. And then you'll realize the owners ain't shit, man. Just give us the money, by the way. You don't have no power. But they do have power because they got to sleep. That's why. But they exercised their power a few times in the past. And I lived through it. I was a kid at the time when they had that huge lockout. And had to go find they call them I forget what they called them, something type of players. They had to go like replacement players or something. They actually had to go find some. They lost a lot of money during that period. And that's how I know throughout history will tell you that boycotting actually works. The Montgomery bus boycotts was very effective. And those people said, listen, I don't care where those people sit on the bus. They need to get back on this bus. Because we were starting to be entrepreneurs at that point. People that had Cadillacs and stuff. By the way, we the reason why Cadillac is still here, by the way, if you don't know. But they had huge cars and they started, hey, pay me a few cents to take you to work. And they were getting their hustle. It was almost like Lyft. You know how people drive for Lyft and Uber? That's what they were doing back then. Yes, we're the reason why Cadillac is still here. Because during the Depression and stuff, we weren't allowed to buy Cadillacs and all that. We weren't allowed to put our money in white banks. So you remember when they had that crash and they went through the Depression? Some of us still had money because we weren't allowed to put our money in the bank, so we didn't lose anything. And so people were buying, they're like, let these people buy these Cadillacs, and that's what saved Cadillac. You can go look. That's what saved it. But I just know that we have a lot of power. We have to exercise it eventually. Um, but one isolated incident is not enough for the collective to actually to actually act on it because we're not fully awake yet to exercise the power. And you might say, what power we have? Our spending power. That's the power. We spend more than some small countries. If we decide to say, you know what, let's collectively boycott the Cleveland Browns, I guarantee you their bottom dollar, the dollar will go down. Now, you remember when Coach Prime went to Colorado? All of a sudden, the jerseys, everything started boosting up over there. That's because of us. We buy the most merch. We buy the most jerseys. Okay, so that's why. But now things will really flip around if both demographics come together. I'm talking about the haves and have-nots, and realize that they were lied to and taught to say you're better than this person because of skin color. That was a lie. But once they wake up, and once they totally wake up, everybody come together, then it will be for the people by the people, like the Constitution imagine it'll be. But right now it's not. But shout out to Shedeur Sanders. He is QB-2. He walked in that facility as QB-2. I know he's QB-5. He's QB-2 though. He's QB-2. That kid is a superstar. How do you draft somebody in the fifth round and he's a damn superstar? He's a superstar already. Go look at the jersey sales. He's a superstar already. He's the hottest thing in fucking the Cleveland. Make that make sense. He's the hottest thing in Cleveland right now. And he went in the fifth round. These owners need to be ashamed of themselves. I'm gonna every now and then when I feel like it, I'm gonna remind them. I need to start putting names in the title so it can get to them, so I can tell them how stupid they are. It's craziness. I didn't need that report to say that. I just was looking at the jersey sales and looking at the comments from the dog pound. They're happy that he's there. How do you get drafted in the fifth round and your jersey is selling off the rack? It's crazy. Just because these owners wanted to be petty and be a hater. But that's it, man. Um, he's gonna go on to do really good things. Typically, when somebody get drafted in the fifth and sixth round, they usually just end up as backups. You do have like the Brock Purdy's and Tom Brady situations of the world, but it don't always work out for like Tom Brady and Brock Purdy situation did. Or Kurt Warner. I think Kurt Warner was undrafted. He went undrafted. It don't always work out that way. They represent the very few. The Kurt Warners, the Tom Brady's, the Brock Purdy's. They represent the very few. But on average, you just become a backup, and eventually you just either a journeyman or you just go away if you're in that later round. He's not. This is not going to happen. This is not normal, and this is not a normal situation. You actually have a person that has the skills for round one, but because of the situation of the owners, they saying that they didn't collude. Oh, you got to watch that word collude. Well, whatever. They said to take him off, and that's why he didn't get drafted. That's the reason why. It's not because of his skills or his personality. It wasn't because of his personality. They're lying, saying that he's entitled, and he don't act like it. He doesn't act like that. But that's what they're saying. They felt he's entitled stuff. They lying. They lying. Why wouldn't these devils lie? They lied about history, didn't they? They sure did. They lied about history, so why wouldn't they lie about this? Because they're devils. Don't get offended for the people that, okay, he called me a devil. If you're not a devil, you're in the 10%. I told you that. So don't worry about it. Okay? You're in the 10% percentile. So don't worry about it. But like if they can lie about history, right? They can lie about anything. So these people are lying when it comes to that. The media is a very powerful entity. It could turn you into whatever they want to turn you into, and the average person will believe it. So that's what I'm saying. But no, he's not. He don't act entitled. Yeah, he do wear the Mr. T chains and all that, looking like Mr. T. He do now. I'm just clowning him, but he do. But what that got to do with anything? Don't you see a lot of other players in the league looking like Mr. T? That's just what young people do. That's their culture. That's the young people shit. It really started with my generation. My generation did it. It was my generation that did that. The Allen Iversons, that generation. We were the one that influenced them. They don't realize it though. They don't think so, but it was my generation that did that. Now, Coach Prime generation, he's the big brothers to Generation X. Those are his age group is our big brothers. They did wear jewelry. Actually, it started with them. No, I'm sorry. It started with Coach Prime and them. We're wearing all that jewelry, looking like Mr. T. It started with them, that age bracket. Because prior to that, they weren't doing that. It started with Coach Prime's age bracket. Big Daddy Kane and them, Jay-Z. Yeah, Jay-Z, they the same age. I know y'all don't think so. Yeah, they are. Jay-Z in the same age bracket. He sure is. I know he say young, but yeah, he is. We used to call it truck jewelry, the Dookie ropes. Because my mother bought me a Dookie rope when I was a kid. I was like 8 years old at the time, eight or 10 or something. And they used to have the Dookie ropes. LL Cool J started. Them Biz Markie. You know what I'm saying? Everything we started. You know how people saying, "Oh, that's diabolical." It started with us, the diabolical Biz Markie. Go look at the album. We used to say that before that. Everything flips around. So it started with our generation. So now everybody's saying diabolical again. But it started with Biz Markie, the diabolical Biz Markie. It's an album, actually. Um, but the chains and stuff, it started with us. Now let me just say this: these devils, they never liked it. They never did because they used to talk about it back then. You know what I'm saying? They never liked it. They don't like that we're in the same country clubs they're in now. Because see, things are starting to flip around a little bit because these people are getting real money now. These rappers back in the day, we thought they were getting money. No, they were not. They were not getting real money. Just like when Coach Prominent was playing, they were not getting real money. Okay? They weren't. It wasn't until the modern baseball came with Derek Jeter and them when they started getting real money. even though he made his money. But I'm talking about these players are getting ridiculous amount of money. Now they're able to be in the same areas that these other uppity folks is in, like these country clubs and all this stuff. They don't like it. They don't want you around. See, I know what the deal is, but it's too late now because the market dictates on how much you pay the player. Okay, it dictates it. That's why people are getting astronomical amounts of money in baseball now because Derek Jeter and them and A-Rod was getting that money. You know what I'm saying? They were getting that money back then in the big unit. They were all getting that money. So it just goes, it gets higher and higher as the years go on. That's why it costs an arm and a leg to go to Yankee Stadium. So these people are getting real life-changing money now. Okay? So they're now in the same, they're frequenting the same areas in the Riviera, going to Monaco and shit. They're at the same places now. And some of these folks, they don't like it. That's just what it is. But they're going to have to get used to it because things are going to flip around eventually. People just getting real money. I like that these players are getting that kind of money. Now, we got to figure out how we can get some more owners that look like us. Michael Jordan wasn't enough, even though he sold the team now. He wasn't enough. Jay-Z was never an owner. He was a minority owner. He only had less than 1% stake in the Nets. That doesn't count. So we need owners. We need more owners now. And eventually, like I said, that's the next step. We need more owners. But they'll when they die, they'll will it to their kids. They never gonna give us ownership. So that ain't gonna happen. But but I'm glad they're getting real money, man. But he'll get it in endorsements. But he is QB2 there, man. It's Flacco and Shedeur. But you know what Chris Carter did say though, despite all of that? He said, well, who you think is gonna be starting in Cleveland? He said eventually Shedeur is. And the guy was like, you said all this, and he said, I know, but he's gonna get less money than Cam Ward on it, but he's a starter. Chris Carter said it. He said he eventually gonna start over Flacco. It's eventually it's gonna happen because the fans gonna be calling for it. Eventually it's gonna happen. So he said they have a unique situation there. And then he said that because the camera always follow him around, he said that also hurt him too. I said, get the F out of here, man. If you don't get a chance, go listen to Chris Carter's interview. Just type in Chris Carter Shedeur Sanders, and you will hear it. And he's getting this information from around the league. They didn't like that the cameras around, but guess what? This is what I found out. He said, if Bucky want to come to all the all the practices, the NFL can't stop him. Can't stop him. Chris Carter said he could still have the camera around. He said they can't say anything because they just can't. So if he want to have he can't have it in certain meetings. He can't have it in certain meetings. But when practice is open to the public, he can come there with his camera. Look, I don't talk so much real shit, and I'm losing my voice. But he could come there with the camera. He said they can't stop that, and they can't stop how he's on the camera because they can't say anything about your personal life. So he said that's not going to stop. But he said they had a problem with all the attention, and because he got all the attention, because they ain't got no damn attention. That's why. Because these women ain't checking for them. So I don't want to get too deep on them. Ain't nobody checking for them, man. And even if they are, they I ain't gonna get into it. But that's what they saying. He got too much attention and all this weirdo stuff. But anyway, guys, I'm done. But go check his Instagram and see how he walked into that facility. And you're gonna get the feeling that he's QB1. Peace.